love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it.
I came over, I ain't sober, I'm still drunk, that's hangover. Might run it back when this page over. You the best thing, I done slaved over. Gon' arch you back and been way over. It's overdue for that understressing. Over him, now you underdressing. Call me up and I come finessing. Like, ooh, we shot it, what it do, what it don't. Baby, you a queen, you can move how you want. You was rocking with me when I couldn't stay afloat. They ain't never saying nothing wavy to a boat. Like, eyes up, look at me, now I'm the captain. Brought the camera, time for action. Split the legs just like a fraction. Tuck the napkin, time for snacking. You a mother meal. Tell me that it's mine, baby, tell me that it's real. Hit it to the max, well, tell me how it feel. It's gonna be a minute, cause I'm in it for the thrill. Make her feel like heaven, she gon' put me in the wheel. And willingly, I wanna do anything she wanna do. I ain't even wanna boo, but this is what the karma do. It's hard to be apart from you, cause ooh, I
love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm drank up and I'm danked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm drank up and I'm danked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it, you.
tongue-tied, twisted around your finger like a piece of string. I'm winded, chasing after your ghost is real exhausting. I'm in love, but I don't think it's what I thought it was supposed to be. Love story, no guts and no glory. How did I get so dizzy thinking of you? I don't usually get like this. It's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? Well, I don't usually get like this. 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 Reminded of how I met you, tried to catch you falling. Instead I fell off myself and I just can't stop falling. These wings are gonna flap for me if I keep waiting. Keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting. How did I get so dizzy thinking of you? I don't usually get like this. I don't get like it's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? I just wanna kiss you. Well, I don't usually get like this. Get like this. Get like this. No. Loves me not. This bouquet is all I got. I'm dreaming, or could it be a future for you and me? She loves me, I know it's true. Or maybe I'm the fool for you. I don't usually get like this. It's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? Yeah, I don't usually get like this. Get like this. Oh, get like this. No, get like this.
Feel like falling deeper. Cold nights 난 너무 싫어. 기다리기에는 너무 길어. 줬던 내 사랑이 식어. 기대만 하는 것도 난 힘들어. No, I can't, just can't. 가져 내 맘을, 놔줘 내 가슴을 다 바쳐 사랑하기엔 내 자신이 너무 걱정돼. 바보 같은 생각이야. 알아 멍청해. 상상만으로도 좋은 상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을 가지고 있어. 사랑이라는 거. Oh yeah. Baby, can't you come with me? Can't you hold my hand and 가는 방향이 어딘지 서로 궁금해져 버려 애써 맘 졸여 하늘만 보면서 언제쯤 알게 될까 너도 나와 같은 생각을 하고 있을까 한참을 멍하니 보다 보니 살짝 어두워진 색깔 불그스름한 노을의 때깔 상상만으로도 좋은 상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을
You broke my heart a million times.
Good evening.
Can't count the times
Mic check 1 2
I
1
made
2.
you cry. Oh, we're such a mess now, and we're burning out.
What up, y'all?
I get so sad at the thought of losing you.
Gotta knock this chapter out.
I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of
Yes, Yolanda. Absolutely. You can share the link, Yolanda. Let me know if you need anything. Need anything special, any special links or special connections, or if you got it all under control, that was good for you. What up, y'all? I'm excited. We gotta knock out chapter 7 and 8. My equipment came in, made it easier for me to shoot at my second podcast studio. That's what we're shooting today. Hey, Lakeisha. Ooh. Lakeisha, did you change your profile pic? You know what? I've seen it on a different screen. So I have I've upgraded my layout at my podcast studio number 2, so I can see the comments a lot better than before. I can see your photo. Lakeisha, that's a pretty photo. Let's get ready to read, y'all. The screen should be up in a second. Because the way I set it up, it goes live. Right around 1 minute and 10 seconds left. So we got about 7 seconds and we'll be able to see Mr. Shannon putting on some chapstick. What'd I tell y'all? See? Now, I hope it's not too dark. Because what I'm looking at is something kind of dark. It looks a little dark with this monitor. But it'll have to do. And you can't see it. See, remember you guys, I used to have my laptop ready. Now I have an ultra wide matte screen laid out. Oh, it's a great setup, you guys. I'm super happy. Gonna make this happen today. This is so nice. I may put this at my other studio. We'll see. Anyways, 15 seconds and we are live. Does everybody have their book out? Do you have your book out? Hopefully everybody has a copy of the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. It's the red book. It's the red book. That's right, Lakeisha. Everybody type the word salute in the chat. You'll notice as soon as Lakeisha typed the word salute in the chat, my system detected. It said, Lakeisha Michelle, we got you. You're present and accounted for. And you're now entered into the live chat contest today. Kimberly Versio is here. She just typed salute. Evening edition. Yes, Kimberly. I'm playing catch up. This is a transition week from the boys being in school all day. And so I don't want to take them downtown to where they're going to be super bored. So I've been caring for them at home, but I had to spend a bunch more money on Amazon and have them overnight me a bunch of more equipment. Because some of the stuff that I had here at the house, I had moved to the studio. And now that I'm at the house, now I can interchangeably go between each location. It's just turnkey. All I got to do is just hit the power switch. So now we're good to go. So it took me a little bit. My man Sir Hale is in the house. What up, Sir Hale? Sir Hale is in the house. We're here to read the Book of Obsidian. Oh, you know what I did? What I don't have is my notes up. Hopefully my notes open in this screen. Let's see. Yep, they did. Good. Good. Let's go over here to my notes. Hold on, you guys. Cool. Oh yeah, I like this setup. The Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. It's fresh off the success of his debut, The Book of Obsidian, a manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman. Mumia Obsidian Ali continues the raw truth telling about the state of Black love out on these streets. And this time around, it's the ladies' turn. In the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition, Ali dares to tell the lovely ladies what so many others in the Black love business simply will not, in no uncertain terms. Far too many, the experts in the Black love machine, won't tell the ladies the bleedingly obvious reasons for how and why they're having such a tough time out in the 21st century Black American dating and mating landscape. And the proof of this fact is borne out by the ladies themselves being increasingly dissatisfied with their prospects, romantic and relationship outcomes. After more than a decade of the most intense research and study, the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition, was written in direct response and goes where no one has gone before. If you're a 21st century Black American lady and want to get your Black love game back on track, read the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition, if you dare. You guys, we are here on is today Wednesday? Yeah, it's on a Wednesday evening. We are here on a Wednesday evening getting ready to knock out chapter 7 and 8 because I'm back tomorrow morning to knock out chapters 9 and 10. So I wanted to finish 7 and 8 today so we can jump on 9 and 10 tomorrow, and then we're back on track for 11 and 12 on Friday. Today is chapter 7 and chapter 8. Chapter 7 is the plight of the Black Plain Jane. The plight of the Black Plain Jane. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. This is a live book club where we read a book a month. Oh, I'm sorry. Where's my manners? As Kevin would say. Welcome to another chapter of Rich People Read, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. Today we are reading the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. Remember, on this channel, we talk about the two ships, entrepreneurship and relationships. And because of that, we flip-flop each month on the books we read to discuss such subjects. Last month, we talked about money in the Book of Babylon. This month, we're reading the Book of Obsidian. It's a relationship manual for women. We're speaking directly to the ladies this month, in the month of June. Month before last, we read a book called Hold On to Your Nuts, a relationship manual for men. Before that, we read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Before that, we read The Four Agreements. Before that, we read the Book of Obsidian, the Black Book. You see how it works? We go money, love, money, love, money, love. That's how we do. Next month for July, we're going to be reading another book that's going to help us with money. So that's what we do here. And it's a live book club. So, you know, it's not important that you actually read a book physically to be able to say you read a book. All you got to do is listen to it. And so that's why I'm here, to read this book to you guys chapter by chapter. We read every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, typically. It's been a rough, I just got back from taking care of some businesses. Been a little bit rough for me to catch up, but it's okay. We typically read Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. So please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share, tell other people about it. For those that's watching the replays, and I get a lot of replays, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. And what we're going to do is we're going to just jump right into it. These are fast chapters, you guys. Chapter 7 is only 5 pages and chapter 8 is only 6 pages. So it's going to be an easy read. We'll be out of here in roughly 30 minutes, as long as I don't do too many sidebars. But I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad my super LaRonda's here. I see LaRonda is here. Kimberly, Lakeisha, Sir Hale. For those that don't know, if you guys are watching this play over again, you'll see the chat. These people are in the chat. They support me in everything I do over here at YouTube. You know how you just get those friends that you've really never met in person, but they're actually better than the friends you know in real life. They're better than the friends in your own neighborhood, in your own family, in your own community. That's how Lakeisha and LaRonda and Kimberly, that's how I feel about them. So shout out to you guys for being here. I appreciate you. What did Kim say? Shannon, I hope you are not burning the candles at all ends and you're taking care of yourself. I am. That's the thing about it. I'm sleeping a lot. Oh, it's been good, Kimberly. Getting some sleep. I've been getting a lot of rest and I'm catching up. So I haven't been working too much. I'm getting back in the groove though. You look at the podcast. I don't even do all the podcasts that I normally do. You know, the Check This Outs and the High Value Shans have both been on pause because I knew that I needed to take a small break. Now, High Value Shan was because I was moving back and forth from my studio. I kind of went back to my fashion studio, but then I still took a break. So now I'm getting back in the groove. The summer is here, right? My son-in-law, he's in summer school now. He starts summer school next Wednesday. So everything is in the groove and I'm well rested. So thank you so much for that, Kimberly. Thank you for checking up on. You know, you got to check up on your strong friends too. Not too often, and you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not too often that somebody asks you, "Are you okay? How are you doing?" You're always the one that's asking other people how they doing. You're always the one that's asking other people, do they need anything? Who asks you, are you okay? Who checks up on the strong folk, right? Shout out to you, Kimberly. I appreciate you. Look, you guys, let's just jump right into it. I don't want to keep you. I know it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. On the West Coast. So that means it's what? Midnight, 9, 10, 11. It's midnight on the East Coast. So let's just jump right into it. For those that's here, let's switch to our read screen. We're going to just jump into chapter 7, knock it out. Then we'll jump into chapter 8, knock it out, and then I'll send everybody to bed. But I'll see you in the morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time so we can read the next chapters. Look, Lakeisha is in Chicago, so she's up at midnight supporting me. That's really big to me. Just, I don't know. I know people here locally that don't support me, and I've never. There's people here locally that don't support me the way you guys do. That's just, it's weird to say, but that's the case. Thank you so much. Let's continue. The Book of Obsidian. Now, here's the thing. Before I continue, we already read the Book of Obsidian, the men's edition. That was the black edition. We read that for the month of January. It was a book speaking directly to men. This book, I'm speaking to women. Now, Obsidian is coming pretty hard. He's coming hard and direct with the information that he's hitting the ladies with. But the feedback that I've been getting is I've needed to hear it this way. I've needed to hear it this way. Whether I like it or not, the women have been telling me this. Whether I like it or not, I needed to hear it this way because this is some sort of, they didn't say this part, but she said it's, they said, because I've gotten this from multiple women, that it's a rude awakening of sorts. And so, ladies, listen, especially that last chapter, right? The last chapter, what was it called? Let me see. The last one was Rules for Big Girls. We just finished Rules for Big Girls day before yesterday. That was a tough one for some women. So, shout out to Obsidian for keeping it 100 and speaking to the ladies directly and telling them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. All right, let's continue, guys. This is chapter number 7, The Plight of the Black Plain Jane. Plain Jane. Only in Black America is being a lovable loser something to be proud of. It's a quote from Mumia Obsidian Ali himself. In one of the online forums I frequent, I recently asked the question as to why, for all the focus on social mixers, for the ostensibly best and brightest of Black America, we're good Black men and women not coming together. As I suspected, there was quite a bit of hand wringing over what good meant. And at least one lady in the forums I frequent got totally mad at yours truly. But one discussion between a brother of one of these forums and yours truly serves as the inspiration for my musing for today, and it goes something like this. In addition to yesterday's premise that I laid out, I think we have to be fair in acknowledging that in this Black brave new world, an undetermined number of Black women, for purposes of today's discussion, I am going to designate them the Black Plain Janes, are going to be left out. We all know what I'm talking about by the term, but so as to be certain that we are all on the same page, she is the sister that is always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Falling near bionic woman type interventions, no one is going to accuse her of being a beauty queen, right? She's not the most prettiest woman out there, right? Or she's not the one that, from a physical standpoint, come on, let's keep it 100, you guys. She's not like the at the top of the list, or even a runners up. She's often very bright, among, if not the smartest as far as Black women go. Conscientious, she's kind. No one has a bad word about her. She tends to not have kids. That is to say, being a baby mama for a number of reasons, part circumstantial and then part inborn drives not to. She often is a member of some kind of cause, right? Be it a church or a social-oriented activity. Today, socio-political activities of varying stripe have been seen, increasing appeal, and she is often a member in good standing in one of the Divine Nine sororities, maybe a Delta or a Zeta or SG Rho or AKA perhaps. Sturdy Stacy Abrams and her sister, a federal judge, and powerful real-time examples of what I mean. There are many others. You know, y'all know who Stacey Abrams is. Plain Jane Stacey Abrams. To coin a phrase, and when it comes to our kind of people, she is in that world, but not of it. She sees what her better off sisters do, attending the attending the frat parties and social gatherings that are part of the part and parcel Black college life. If she's on an HBCU campus, she sees the outright hotter sisters pairing off pretty quickly with a range of brothers. If she's at a PWI, which stands for predominantly white institution, she sees the more desirable brothers pairing off with both upper tier sisters and quite a few non-Black ladies as well. In the many discussions bearing on Black love, she is one of its invisible parties, someone we all know but rarely acknowledge until very recently. Hold on one second. Hold on, guys. Let's get my screens together. Okay, cool. Being a founding member of what has become known as the Black Manosphere online, I've taken part in what has become known as the Great Pookie and Ray Ray debate. The idea that far too many Black women have thrown in their dating, mating, and even reproductive lot in the worst kind of Black men, completely overlooking ignoring or flat out disrespecting the educated lames. It was a raging five-alarm fire of debate that burned brightly for at least several years alone. However, one of the uh, repostes, I don't know what that means, Obsidian. I might have to look that up. Repostes coming from many black female participants of that debate was to say that black men do it too. That is to say that quite a few of the supposedly good brothers were checking for the Cardi B's of the world, passing up the good sisters, the black plain Janes. Even worse, many sisters would say, is that so-called blurs, that is to say black nerds, the blurs, the black nerds, would completely bypass their black female counterparts in favor of the Instagram simulacra. This is often cited as a way to invalidate the entire premise of the Pookie and Ray Ray debate, and like my fellow black manispherians, I scoffed at the cheap attempt at doing so. Nevertheless, and at the risk of offending my fellow brothers, the ladies do have a point. It may not be cool to admit in polite company, but the truth is that there is a reason why some 40% of black women today are also single and childless. No, I'm not saying that all of them are black plain Janes. And I'm not saying that black women want to get married, that all black women want to get married, or even want or need a black man. But a heck of a lot of them are. More than we're willing to admit. And the numbers, that is to say, the Instagram and related social media numbers do not lie. It is not at all unusual for black Instagram model types to have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of followers. The overwhelmingly vast majority of them are indeed black males. Black women spend the most time of any demographic plugged in to social media. They are also extremely sensitive to cultural messaging, of which social media today is the main conduit. They see what appears to be good brothers saying one thing in places like the Black Manosphere and doing something very different when it comes to who they follow, who they like, and who they share on Instagram. The difference is night and day, and the difference doesn't go unnoticed. In the past, a highly educated, smart, kind, black plain Jane could have landed a good guy. That's in the past. The black plain Janes of the past could have landed a good guy. She may not have been what he wanted, and to be fair, neither was he for her. But they would have eventually paired off, and kids would have ensued by hook or crook, and they would have contributed to the continued relative stability of Black American society of the previous century. Remember Michelle Obama, as an example, patron saint of the sisterhood, got married in 1995. And when she did marry, it was to a community organizer in a young black or Barack Obama. Because of our past in this nation, the idea that dating and mating concerns had to be folded into a larger cause is one that even now holds tremendous sway over many, even as the need for doing so fades away with each passing year. There is no doubt in my mind that the Obamas love each other, but there is also no doubt that the cause was a powerful bond of glue that brought and kept them together. It was the cause that kept Michelle and Barack together. The cause, their mission, is what kept them together. They are both the last of the black baby boomers, literally children of the movement. But things change in a big way by the time the Black Gen Xers, like yours truly, Mr. Shannon Obsidian, came along. And that's to say nothing of our Black millennial and now the Black Generation Z cohorts. Simply put, the Black plain Jane cannot fall back on the social supports, for better or for worse, that the Michelle Obamas had to help her land a mate. Today, in 2022, with Black men being truly free in law and custom, recall President Trump's posthumous pardon of boxing great Jack Johnson, the Black plain Jane woman of today is really up against it. If for no other reason than the simple, hard fact that part of what it means to be free is to be shallow, is to be superficial and frivolous. And that's what many Black men are today, even the nerds. Black men who have their act together, who don't have to deal with racial threats of the past and so on, simply don't need what Black plain Janes of the past has to offer. And if the falling Black marital rate is anything to go by, nor do many brothers want it either. In an Instagram world, think about this, ladies and gentlemen, and this is for you guys, because most of the people that's listening to me right now have an Instagram account. And so you guys can see what it's like. You see what the men are liking. You see what they're interested in on Instagram. I know what you hear over in the Black manosphere, in these Black spaces. I know what you hear on Clubhouse, but then you also see something different. That's what Obsidian is pointing out. You see different. It feels different. Even if you don't see it, it feels different, right? In an Instagram world, which is what we live in now, Black women in general and Black plain Janes in particular are under the gun like never before to compete. They're not just going up against their fellow glammed out sisters, right? They're going up against other groups of women who seem able to take the most appealing parts of Black women and add it to them like Mrs. Potato Head attached to a great effect, I might add. Black men may wax eloquent extolling the virtues of a good wife archetype, but Black women, and especially the Black plain Jane, see something very different. It's hard to see how this situation will be remediated. The idea or notion of a cause, like fighting discrimination in ways big or small, as a way to foster togetherness, is completely untenable now, no matter how much we may try to cling on to the events of the past. Whether we like it or not, marriage, and by extension relationships, for all Americans now is much more focused on the hedonic, the personal, the pleasure principle. In that domain, the Black plain Jane woman of today is in a very real sense an obsolete relic, out of place in the current era. Her skill sets are no longer needed, if it ever was. Damn. Let's take a minute to absorb what Obsidian just said. If you are if you are a woman today, and there's nothing extraordinary about you, there's nothing special about you, and we can even just keep it really, for the Neanderthals in us, sexual. There's nothing sexually appealing about you. You look average in terms of looks. You're smart. You got a degree. You're educated. You dress normal. Your body shape, your breasts, your hips, your ass is normal. You don't have a really hourglass shape. You have regular plain hairstyle. There's nothing spectacular or outstanding or extraordinary about you? I'm glad you're back, Yolanda. There's nothing extraordinary about you. And this goes across, this transcends really all women. Because as Obsidian said, even other women of other cultures are taking the things that Black women were traditionally known for, like nice ass, titties, fly hairstyles, and they just pasting it, it's copy and paste. They just copying and pasting it right on themselves. So if you are a Black plain Jane, if you are a plain Jane today, you're obsolete. Because there's no social justice causes that's going to keep us together. We're not under the same oppression that we were 30 years ago. It's not, the crack era is over. The war on drugs, Vietnam, Jim Crow, What makes the Black plain Jane special that a man who can just peruse Instagram and look at the most sexiest things he's ever seen, and in all her glory, by the way, what makes the plain Jane stick out? You are fighting an uphill battle, ladies. What up, Sheed? The real reason why hoes be stay winning. The real reason why the hoes be winning. One of the biggest slogans of recent times has been that hoes be winning or hoes stay winning, and often spat out by Black women online in the most derisive of terms. But what they overlook, deliberately, I might add, is that hoes, and by that is often meant Instagram models, right? Types of varying stripe, big and small, real or perceived, have and will continue to win is because hoes know what men, in this case, Black men, want, and they give it to them. The hoes know what Black men want, and the hoes that be winning give it to them. Many of their plain Jane sisters spend way too much time trying to debate, argue, and jawbone their way to get that kind of attention, and it often fails more often than not. A great case in point is the aforementioned sturdy Stacey Abrams. Y'all know who Stacey Abrams is, who back in 2018 made her bid as the first Black woman for the governor's mansion of the Peachtree State, Georgia. Several years before former President Donald Trump and his supposed January 6th insurrection, Abrams was holding forth as the nation's biggest sore loser, pardon the pun, and she lost precisely due to what I'm talking about here. It is highly unusual for someone seeking high political office to be single. We just talked about this the other day. I explained it to you guys in a military. Actually, it wasn't here. We talked about this at the Black Manosphere at the Mumia Obsidian Ali experience last week in one of our closed meetings. I explained to them military, and Obsidian explained to them corporate America. It is highly unusual, ladies and gentlemen, for someone seeking high political office to be single. And in the decades since Kennedy Camelot era, an aspiring politician's appearance matters more too. Abrams can talk about sexism all she likes, but the facts don't lie. Since Kennedy's time, male height has been positively correlated to a man's chances at winning high office. And with women making up more than half of the electorate nationwide, that is just the way they like it. There hasn't been a president with an average American male height of 5'10" since Jimmy Carter. And we all know how that turned out. Half of the American adult population is under 5'10". Yours truly Obsidian himself, being one of them at only 5'7". And we haven't seen a president that height since the turn of the 20th century. And like Jimmy Carter and William McKinley, only served one term, having been assassinated in 1901. These historical facts completely undercut Abrams or any other woman's, like two-time presidential election loser Hillary Rodham Clinton's, notion of some vast misogynistic conspiracy against women that don't somehow apply to men seeking high office. If anything, the historical evidence says exactly opposite, right? Abrams is the poster child in so many ways for today's Black American woman, and especially for its Black plain Jane woman. Her wall is littered with degrees. She got all kind of education. Her wall is littered with degrees from some of the best colleges and universities in the country, if not the world. Spelman undergrad, UT Austin for her MPA, and finally she went to Yale for her Juris Doctorate. And yet, for all her real smarts, she was culturally tone deaf, severely lacking in self-awareness, and in the end was just downright stubborn about refusing to do what it would take to actually win. You see, like so many Black women like Abrams, being right was more important to her. Let that sink in. For Stacey Abrams, like so many Black women today, being right, the need to be right, sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the worst one of them all, the end, the need to be right was more important. This explains how and why, for example, Abrams neglected to heed the advice of her own political campaign manager, who pleaded with her to lose weight and get a man. I didn't know that, Obsidian. I didn't know that. This explains how and why, for example, Abrams neglected to heed the advice of her own campaign manager, her political campaign manager, who pleaded with her to lose weight and get a man. Her aide knew what they were talking about because Southern women, white and Black, tend to like their women representatives of varying stripe to be attractive and connected, as the numerous reality shows that focus on Georgia bears out, like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and even Love and Hip Hop. You see, Abrams's recalcitrance would prove costly. She wound up losing some 65% of the white female vote in Georgia. Simply put, and when push came to shove, they couldn't relate to the fat and single Stacey Abrams, who, to be honest, had sensibilities that align more with the navy blue Northeast than the candy apple red South. Abrams is running again for her dream job as of this writing. And if the past is an indicator of her future performance, the odds are that she will lose again, especially in the midterm election year that isn't looking good for her party. And she hasn't changed a damn thing. Black plain Janes do themselves no favors when they ape the behaviors of their standard bearers in Abrams. It's a losing strategy, literally. And while Abrams can make some hay in being a sore loser politically, the rank and file plain Janes of Black America will get no such consolation prize. There's no trophy for second place. If the Black plain Janes were truly smart, ladies, this is you. If you're a Black plain Jane and if you were truly smart, like you claim you are, they would take a good, long, and hard look in the mirror, preferably butt naked nude, then take a good, hard look at the women on Instagram that they bemoan, swallow their horse pill size egos, and do what it takes to move the needle in their love lives. Or they're welcome to join Stacey Abrams, who the closest she will ever come to a high value man are the black male characters she writes about in her steamy erotic novels. That's chapter 7, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna move on to chapter 8. But here's the thing: are you a black plain Jane? Before we move on, ladies, are you a black plain Jane? Are you a boring woman in all categories? Do you look boring? Do you talk boring? Do you act boring? Do you think boring? Are you a black plain Jane, or a white plain Jane, or an Asian plain Jane, or a Hispanic plain Jane? Are you a plain Jane? And if you are fighting an uphill battle when it comes to mating and dating today, because what makes you stick out to a man who can't stake his relationship on a joint cause together like we were able to do yesteryear? If anything holds true, men are saying one thing, but Instagram likes, follows, and shares is saying another. While you hating on those beautiful women on Instagram, those thin, luscious women on Instagram, not saying that you need to become one, but you can't just be plain Jane. All right? You can't just be a plain Jane. Let's move on to chapter 8, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll send you guys on to bed. All right? I'll send you guys on to bed. Does plain mean uninteresting? Absolutely, Kimberly. Absolutely uninteresting. Let me rephrase it. Are you uninteresting when you talk? Are you uninteresting with your hair? Are you uninteresting with the clothes you wore today? Are you uninteresting in your conversations? Do you have uninteresting sex appeal? I think that's an oxymoron, right? Is everything about you uninteresting? Do you do anything interesting that will make a man say, I like that. I'd like to have some more of that, please. I'd like to talk to you more often than not, because you're interesting. You're not plain. Absolutely, Kim. Hey, Yolanda, are you a black plain Jane, Yolanda? I'm curious. Are you a black plain Jane, Yolanda? All right, let's continue. Hold on one second. Why my event screen ain't showing up? Let me put that on the screen, Lakeisha. Ladies, listen to what Lakeisha is saying. You must always, she didn't say sometimes. Lakeisha said, you must always be interesting and appealing to the eyes. Lakeisha knows. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies specifically, because I'm reading this book for you. Let's go down to chapter 8 of the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition, where we talk about the curse of the eternal 7. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Fresh out the shower, no makeup, clear face, and you can't use 7. Why can't you use 7? Because everybody uses 7. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in looks, your face, fresh out the shower, no makeup, and you can't use 7 because everybody uses 7. You're average at best, Kevin Samuels. Yo to the noobs. Earlier this month, image consultant, social media personality, and newly minted Black love expert, St. Kevin Samuels hosted one of the first of his clubhouse chats with a selected number of guests. Among them was Chicago area-based news media personality Rochelle Ritchie. I know Rochelle on Clubhouse, who was keen to give Mr. Samuels a piece of her mind in the wake of the "you're average at best" controversy that made Samuels a household name. After a heated and contentious exchange between Samuels and Ritchie, with the latter demanding to know why the former didn't apologize to the average at best lady, at the center of the social media controversy, and reminding Mr. Samuels that she worked in the media herself, she was unceremoniously booted out of the chat by Samuels for exhibiting the very same kinds of rude behavior that the average at best caller to his show displayed in the first place. Wow, so Kevin kicked out Rochelle. But I know Rochelle was going to let him know that she works in media. That's one thing that Rochelle makes sure everybody know. She makes sure everybody, you will not be able to talk to Rochelle without her letting you know that she works in television. That is part of her, that's part of her greeting. One wonders why Ritchie, an admittedly attractive and successful Black woman, looks completely out of joint in a discussion concerning a Black woman who was clearly not on her level on either account, and why she was going so hard in the paint for her. The answer to these and many other questions lies in the fact that Ritchie is what Kevin Samuels refers to as an eternal 7. And before I go any further, I want to make it abundantly clear that the concept upon which I write today is Samuel's and his alone. And what I am doing is putting down in written form what that is, and then expanding on it a bit to add my own thoughts and observations. I didn't know about this eternal 7, so I'm getting ready to learn about this myself. You know, I'm all about education. I want to understand. I think I kind of got it, because, you know, we all kind of, me, Kevin, Obsidian, we all kind of think alike already. But I want to hear it. I'm glad I get to read it specifically. Let's go. Ladies, before we go, rate yourself on a scale 1 to 10. Don't put it in the chat. Don't put it in the chat. Do not write your number in the chat. I want you to say it in your head. And I want you to be completely honest. 10 being perfect, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to correct. There is no room for improvement if you're a 10. 0, you look like you got ran over by a truck. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, like you got ran over by a truck. I said 0, but I meant 1. 1 being like as if you ran over by a truck, to 10 being you are so amazingly beautiful that there is nothing to fix. There's nothing that needs correction. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 with a fresh face, no makeup, as if you just got out the shower. And you can't use 7. Let's learn about the curse of the eternal 7. So, with that being said, what exactly is an eternal 7? And why do I call it a curse? We'll read on. Black America's beauty deficit. Before we answer today's, look, Yolanda Hush. Hey, Toya. How you doing, Toya? Toya says, I got about 4 degrees of correction to complete. All right, here we go. Black America's beauty deficit. Before we answer today's burning question, we have to appreciate the fact that one of the biggest, pardon the pun, problems that bedevils Black love in our time is the unsightly fact that Black women are, as a group, the fattest people in America. Black women, as a group, are the fattest people in the United States of America today. The average black woman stands at 5'4". She weighs upwards of 200 pounds and wears an average dress size of 18. That's the average. That means there's many above it, there's many below it. 18 is the median average. Nor is this something that is relegated to a particular age or social cohort. It is a phenomenon that has been documented from Oprah and Stacey Abrams themselves on down to young black women in the hood and everywhere in between. Gabby Sidibe's character in Precious in 2009 movie of the same name comes to mind, as numerous news articles over the years easily bears out. And he has citations for them. Citation 45, 46, 47, and 48. According to the venerable online resource, blackdemographics.com, shout out to blackdemographics.com, some 55% of black women aged 20 or over are obese, with Hispanic women not far behind at 51%. Damn. In his work as an image consultant, Noop Kevin Samuels observes that far more often than not, the black women who come to him for advice and counsel invariably ask for his take on affairs of the heart. And he is often pressed to tell them the truth, that successful black men are not, I repeat, a third time, are not likely to want to put a ring on a seriously heavy-set woman. Kevin Samuels takes things a step further in noting that over the years, as black women's dress size has grown, black men's marriage proposals have shrunk. As far as I know, no scientific study has been conducted that specifically examines Samuels' observation in Black America, but we do have scientific evidence that bears out the generality of the observation. Fatter women have fewer marital prospects. With so many black women being so heavy across Black America's socioeconomic spectrum, before I continue, he put a footnote number 50 there. When you guys buy this book, I'm so glad that Obsidian made this book. See, because he was putting a lot of his footnotes in the book on the black version. In this red version, he's numbering them and putting them in the back like a bibliography. That's so amazing. That's why I encourage all of you guys that are wondering about his numbers and wondering about where's the stats and the data on that. Get the book. Obsidian got all of it listed for you. He's already at number 50. All right. Shout out to Obsidian for that. Let's continue. With so many black women being so heavy across the Black American socioeconomic spectrum, there is a very real beauty deficit at work in contemporary Black America that seems to contribute to an ever-growing divide between black men and women. And there seems to be enough evidence to support Kevin Samuels' contention that the bigger the black woman get overall and in aggregate, the fewer black men are willing to go down on one knee and propose. This is where the eternal 7 comes in, but not exactly how you think. Profile of the eternal 7. Listen up, you guys. Listen up. Here's the profile of the eternal 7. Ladies, is this you? While the rank and file black woman across Black America is at best pleasingly plump, the eternal 7 is very easy to spot. Although she can be seen everywhere in terms of social class in Black American life, for purposes of today's discussion, we will focus on those most likely to be spotted in the lower middle to solidly middle class Black Americans. The eternal 7 is, first and foremost, and almost without exception, svelte, trim, and physically fit, at least in terms of appearance. And her facial looks often complement her streamlined figure. Many often do some form of regular exercise and make attempts to varying degrees of eating right and so forth as well. As her moniker suggests, she is above average in terms of in terms of looks, cute, maybe even pretty, but not outright gorgeous, right? That's reserved for the 8s, the 9s, and the 10s of the world. And she knows it. But the eternal 7, which means, and by the way, 5 is average, right? 5 is rock solid on the average. So we're talking about the eternal 7s. 7 is above average. So the eternal 7s typically look better. She's cute. She's pretty. She may not be flat out gorgeous, but she's cute. She's pretty. Is that you? You cute. You pretty, right? Reasonably fit. You work out. You even eat right, probably, correct? But the eternal 7 knows that she either edges out or completely annihilates the rest of the competition among her lower ranked sisters. And she uses this to her full advantage in pretty much all areas of her life, especially when it comes to dealing with most black men. More on this below. Who, as it has already been discussed, rarely comes across a 7 in their day-to-day lives. Eternal 7s have the inviolable privilege of being universal, right? Or universal enough. She has a universal looking look to appeal to a large swath of American life, both socially, professionally, and in some cases, romantically as well. As such, they tend to work in fields that can afford them a degree of social interaction and even advancement that their more ethnic looking sisters either do so only with a good degree of difficulty or not at all. Therefore, the eternal 7s almost always tend to attend college and universities and tend to work in fields like communications. She works in media, she works in law, or she works with the government, right? Be that local, state, or federal. They can be observed working in fields associated with psychology and healthcare and finance as well. Maybe a nurse, maybe an accountant. Often in face positions of some kind, where people see you and talk to you. Often they work as glorified administrators, junior partners, and middle management at most. They tend to like the camera, right? They probably take a lot of selfies. They tend to like the camera, being in front of it, that is, right? And are often social media butterflies, making I never heard of that term. I say I love learning new words. I think I could get definitions when I double click them, right? I got to learn this one, y'all. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Prodigious. Prodigious is remarkably or impressively great in extent, size, or degree. The stove consumed a prodigious amount of fuel. Expand my vocabulary, please. I like that. Making prodigious use. She uses a lot of Instagram. She uses quite a bit of Facebook. She uses quite a bit of Twitter. And in some cases, YouTube. Again, using their 7ness to give them a one-upmanship among their sisters out there in the internet streets. This is particularly true among the eternal 7s who are creatives. Those who work as photographers and social media professionals, they're graphic artists, or in one way or another, make up the entertainment business economy, always on a penumbra of the actions, but never quite in the thick of it. And I know I'm identifying some of you guys as eternal 7 so far. But in addition to this, what we said, eternal 7s tend to earn well for themselves, far above the national average salary of about $37,000 a year, according to blackdemographics.com, and also tend to be in the social orbit of the masters of the universe black men, the movers, shakers, and kingmakers of Black America. In fact, they're so close to such high value Black men that they can reach out and touch them. They know many of them on a first name basis and so on. And yet they are so very, very far away. Why is that? They know these high value men, but they're far, far away from them. Well, the single biggest reason and the easiest answer is for these eternal sevens. While the eternal seven is indeed attractive, you're pretty, baby. You're cute. You work hard, you make money for yourself. You're on Instagram, you take cute pictures, you show, I saw where you went to brunch the other day. I saw you at your friend's, all white birthday party on the yacht. I saw you go on vacation. I saw you at the gym, at your yoga class. I saw you. But why can't you get closer to these high value men? The single biggest reason is while the eternal seven is indeed attractive, she's not that attractive. While the eternal seven is smarter than the average bear, she's not that smart. And perhaps most important of all, she thinks she's all that, when in truth, she's just above average. For when you're in the rarefied group of masters of the universe guys, why settle for above average when you can get metaphysical goddesses, right? This, then, is the curse of the eternal seven. To know deep down that while you're hotter and smarter than most Black women, especially in our bloated time today, because you're not bloated probably, right? You probably somewhat got a nice shape. You're simply not hot, in some cases, smart or good enough to snag Mr. Master of the Universe, HVM. And that makes the eternal sevens mad. Why the eternal seven is the non-select guy's thirst trap. This brings me to why eternal sevens are a concern for the non-select guy in our time today, because if the latter isn't careful, he may fall prey to the machinations of the former. You see, for many of you ladies out there who are eternal sevens, you know that you will never get the topmost Black men. Not today, not no day. And so they seethe in important rage over that fact. And they take it out on the lesser Black men, real or perceived. Now, to be sure, non-select and lesser are two completely different things outside of Black America, as I've recently proven, but we're dealing with Black women here, right? And as Black women have repeatedly proven, in their eyes, the ideal Black man has to be hitting all cylinders. And the look is a deal breaker, even if you're a number one with the bullet and everything else, as Crystalline Carrison herself makes plain in her book of 2012, Swirling: How to Date, Mate, and Relate, Mixing Race, Color, and Creed. Crystalline writes, the big ink block on your list might be your desire for an IBM, the ideal Black man. Individual preferences may vary, but usually the IBM is more than 6 feet tall. He's devilishly handsome. He optimally went to an Ivy League school and makes $1 gazillion a year. He loves his mama, who raised him alone and sent him to college with all the quarters she saved from the moment he was born. Sound about right? I'll admit it. He does sound good. And if you're an IBW, ideal Black woman, you surely deserve an IBM, an ideal Black man. After all, every great man should want an equally great counterpart, right? Carrison's is fitting for today's discussion because in many ways, she herself qualifies as an eternal seven. She's above average looking for a black woman in our time today, and certainly much more so than the vast majority of the rank file students in her quote unquote pink pill courses. She attended Loyola Marymount and earned a degree in communications with a degree in communications. For the past 10 years, her crusade to get black women to open up and expand their dating options has barely budged. As of the past weekend, she states herself that since the time her book was published 8 years ago, the number of black women marrying white or otherwise non-black men has only increased 3 percentage points. Barely statistically significant. And according to the website Social Blade, she's been on YouTube for 11 years. She has just now only crossed 90,000 subscriber threshold after being here for 11 years and has an overall channel rating of a B minus. Like I said, above average, not all that. And definitely not a contender for a IBM because all IBWs don't deserve an IBM. It's just not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I did not make the rules. I just tell them to you. This has certainly been the case for Kerrison, who was instantly smitten with Kevin Samuels and called into his wildly popular YouTube show to that effect earlier this summer. But she couldn't close the deal. She's been bitterly crying sour grapes and cursing Kevin Samuels' name ever since. Samuels, who's gone on to garner an order of magnitude more subscribers, has gone viral at least 4 times this year alone and makes a ton of ad revenue from YouTube alone over Kerrison. Only further underscores the point. Kerrison and other eternal sevens like her may think whatever they like about themselves, but the cold, hard reality of their lives say something else. That brings me to the non-select guy, the NSGs, who are often dumped on by the eternal sevens, and that's a fact. In part for the reasons enunciated above, but also for another deeply profound reason. Because the NSGs, the non-select guys, are truly reflective of the level of these ladies, and they are pissed about it. As a general rule, the non-select guy of Black America are the middlemen when it comes to the dating and mating market. And have you noticed that they are completely absent from the Black female-driven multi-decades discourse on Black love matters? This is not by accident. Due precisely to today's topic, Black women like Kristen Kerrison, the Eternal Sevens, tend to be among the loudest voices in the room. God, they are the loudest voices in the room. And as far as they're concerned, there really only exist 2 types of Black men. The IBMs, the ideal Black men, that Eternal Sevens like Kerrison swoon over, and the proverbial Pookie and Ray Ray, the niggas, the hood niggas, right? The niggas that ain't shit, the Pookies and the Ray Rays, which is to say that out and out losers of Black American men. Non-select guys tend to be self-made men, usually in some form of business and commerce, right? They are solid middle class of white-collar professional workers, and of course, they are the bulwark of the Black male labor market in the blue-collar skilled trades, despite the fact that non-select guys make a far sight more money than the average Black man. And more often than not, Eternal Sevens themselves, the girls. Eternal Sevens like Kerrison honestly believe that they are inherently better than the non-select guys. And this accounts for the latter conspicuous absence from the former multi-decades harangues. It's either high-value men or Pookies and Ray Rays. There's no men in between. Sidebar. It's either high-value men or, as Kristen Kerrison called them, IBMs, ideal Black men, or Pookie and Ray Ray. There's no in between. And because the eternal sevens, these women feel that they're better or deserve better than the non-select guy, they don't even see him. They only see high value men and Pookie. They don't even see the guy in the middle. Non-select guys do themselves no favors by attempting to curry favors with eternal sevens, who hold you in open contempt. Wait, let me read that all in one sentence. Non-select guys do themselves no favors by attempting to curry favors with eternal sevens, who hold you in open contempt. As Abraham Lincoln once famously said, better to be alone than to keep bad company. Facts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the reading for today. And then we have chapter 9 tomorrow. That's only 7 pages. So tomorrow morning, we're going to read again. Let me close this out. Let's go here. We'll keep this up. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you on the East Coast. It is late it's late. I know. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock. It's 40 seconds away from 1 o'clock on the East Coast. But I had to get it in. I had to read this, you guys. Thank you so much. It's 10 o'clock out here. It's 30 seconds away from 10 o'clock here on the West Coast, Los Angeles. We are currently reading the Book of Obsidian, the Ladies Edition. Are you an eternal seven? Did I describe, as I was reading this book, you? Are you a plain Jane? Are you uninteresting, as Kimberly put it? Something to think about. And if you're going to continue doing what you're doing and expect different outcomes, what did Einstein say about that? I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Thank you so much for being here. Let's do a quick giveaway. Let me close the entries. Boom. Let's pick a winner. Then I'm going to let y'all go. Tomorrow will be a lot more exciting and more energetic. It's late and I'm tired. And I want to go lay down. Let's pick our winner. Lakeisha won twice in a row. Look at that. Lakeisha won again. Twice in a row. The system should say it. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm about to say. Let's close that out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video, share this video. Thank you so much. What up, Shall Prosper? I appreciate you being here so late. We don't normally read this late. We normally read Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to read at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow on Thursday, just to make up what I should have read today, because what I just read, I should have read Monday. But we're playing catch up, so that way we'll be caught up on Friday. But I appreciate you being here, Shall Prosper. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yolanda, for sharing the video and having people and linking it over on Facebook or streaming it or whatever you did. Whatever you did, thank you so much for that support. I appreciate you. Hey, you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Escucha. Mío en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Haces falta, bebé. hacer pa' tenerte de una vez, pa' no poderte perder. Dulce, eres mi bombón, por un maratón, solo de la dirección. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor.
Test 1 2, mic check 1 2. I saw that super chat. I saw that super chat, Black Wolf. Thank you for that blessing, Black Wolf. Hold on, let me throw him up before the countdown ends. Where we at on my screen? You the stream spawn.
Somos perfectos, es algo indiscutible. Mi estilo y tu estilo no están disponibles.
I'm gonna fix all this.
Solo soy sensible cuando te tengo porque eres irresistible. Tus labios combinan con tus ojos, porque eres tan pretty que hasta yo de eso miento. Chica, necesito mis anteojos. Quiero tenerte hermosa de todos modos.
Bless the channel.
Tú y yo,
$5 super chat.
queriendo más amor.
I'm gonna have his name all across the screen.
Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión.
I know who that is, right? That Black Wolf security company. And he hit us off with another $5 super chat. Yo. And now, see his name scrolling across the bottom at $5. I'm gonna have to update that speed. He came in like a clutch, like Kobe. Thank you, my man. Everybody throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
Throw your ones up to Black Wolf Incorporated. He's the stream sponsor at this later hour. Appreciate you, man. See you guys tomorrow morning.